Hey, 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 Jennie Potter here, and welcome to the third episode of Self-Sabotage No More with Jennie Potter. I am super excited to share with you today our topic, which is filters, sabotage filters to be more specific. And we are going to cover them in detail. Plus, as always, I'm going to give you a tangible tool to take away with you so that you can reset your filters and start living into your dream life. If you don't know me, I am a best-selling author, an inspirational speaker, and a future self coach. I absolutely love, in fact, it's my divine mission to help people step into their gifts, step into their purpose, and get out of their own way. My love is to help people identify and release what is holding them back from living their best lives. And in today's episode, we are going to cover limiting beliefs and how they affect your filters. We're going to talk specifically about what is your filter. Now, this isn't just a thing that I've made up on the spot to talk about. Uh, this is a real thing. In fact, the scientists call it your reticular activation system. And your RAS, which we'll call it moving forward because that's a mouthful, your RAS is actually designed for your survival, for your ease, and we can program it. So what is your RAS? Like, why are we talking about it? What's the point? Well, essentially, when you walk down the street, you're designed to not notice every single thing. You will notice danger. You will quickly look if you hear a loud noise. If you hear your name, you will listen. You will notice, and also you will notice what you have trained your own mind to notice. And so we'll talk about that. That's why this has a little something to do with what you believe. But basically, what we're going to talk about here today is how you have unwittingly set your filter setting to notice certain things. And so in my book, Self-Sabotage No More, I discuss how I found a car that I absolutely loved. It was this SUV. It was kind of boxy and small, felt like an SUV, but drove like a car. And I had never seen anything so beautiful or so like this SUV before. And so I was so excited. We traded in our kind of station wagony car for a nice SUV where I felt safer and higher up, but I'm really not the most comfortable driver, and I really wanted something that I felt safe in, and this was it. And so even though I've never really cared about what I was driving or cared about cars or even had a dream vehicle, I uh I said to my husband that I was pretty excited to be driving something that I felt like no one else in town had. Now, that's a funny thing for me to say out loud, and so I even felt a little bit shy saying that, but I just was so excited. I had literally never had a vehicle that I was excited of and, like, proud of, and so as we drove into town, we saw 3. One at the grocery store, one in the parking lot, one, right outside, there's a school next to where we live, and literally every day, my car, my new car that I didn't think anyone else had, was parked there every single day. Why had I never noticed it before? I had never noticed it before because my filter setting was not set up to notice it. Essentially, once I set up my filter unwittingly to notice that type of car, I saw them everywhere. And so this is what we're going to learn how to do with the things we want to create and the things that we want to set up for our ideal lives. And so that's what happened. That's a really simple example of how the filter works. I had never noticed this vehicle before. Then I saw it everywhere. And this happens with lots of stuff. So to give you a more concrete example around how this might affect your life, Uh, I'll give you the example of how I grew up believing I was lucky. I used to tell everyone I was lucky. All my friends said I was so lucky. And I spoke out that affirmation, not knowing it was an affirmation all day long. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. One day I was crossing the street and I got hit by a car. And I was really literally that moment where you don't know what hit you. I didn't know what hit me. One minute I was walking, the next minute I was flat on the ground. And without going into too much dramatic detail, it was a drunk driver. There was police right there. The police chased the driver. They caught the car, but not the driver. He ditched the car and ran, or she. I don't. We'll never know. And so my immediate response to that event was, I am lucky, because that was my filter setting. My filter setting was set up to see where I was lucky. Okay. And so as the days progressed and events went on, all kinds of things happened with my healing. They didn't find the broken bone. They had me jumping up and down on it and physio, and all this stuff happened. And the whole time I kept professing that I was lucky. And so if we rewind that event and we approach it in a different way, let's pretend that someone who believes that they are unlucky, that everything unlucky that can happen happens to them. They never have luck. They have the exact same thing happen to them. They go to cross the street, they get hit by a car. Now, what happens is they speak out, see, I'm so unlucky. I can't believe how unlucky I am. Unlucky stuff happens to me all the time. I literally was crossing the street and a drunk driver came out of nowhere and hit me. Like, that's the unluckiest timing ever. There was no one even on the street. And so you can see that your filter can change your perspective very, very quickly. And Mel Robbins says it really well. She says, change the way you look at the world, and the world you're looking at changes. And a book I absolutely love. If you don't know Mel Robbins, my favorite book of hers is The High Five Habit. And she talks about the RAS filter in her book as well. And I love this quote because it's absolutely true. When we decide to look for luck or opportunity or wealth, we start to notice where we're wealthy. We start to notice where we're healthy. We start to notice where we're lucky, where we're blessed, favored, happy, where we're respected, supported. Because many of you have a story that you're not supported, or you're disrespected, or good things never happen to you, or you'll never be successful. Now, you might have that story in your mind. You might have a filter setting of anything from, I never get a good parking spot. Maybe you always get a good parking spot. But when we're talking about our ideal lives and our dreams, you also have set your filter to, it's always my fault. I'm guilty. People don't respect me. I'm never heard. I never get asked to things. I'm never included. I'm ugly. No one loves me. I'm not worthy. Okay. And so what we want to do is we want to start looking for evidence of what we want. Now, the filter setting, the RES filter, is very, very real and powerful and changeable. So up until now, it's possible that your filter was set up by your 7 to 12-year-old self, again, same as the autopilot, and you didn't even know you set your filter, okay? You just started gathering proof along the way for whatever the truth is that you've been trying to believe. But the truth is that when I work with clients who believe that they're not supported, that no one supports them, when I have them gather proof of who does support them, sometimes it's a bit tough in the beginning, But they start to be able to share with me, well, actually, my best friend really supports me. My mom supports me. But they've been speaking out. No one supports me. I'm never supported. I support me. They start to find where there's cracks in that story and they start to wear a new filter. And so that's what we're going to do is we're going to do actually two tangible exercises today that I'm going to leave you with. So stay with me. One is called proofing and the other is designed specifically to reset your filter. They'll both reset your filter, but these are both great exercises. So I don't want to leave one out. I don't want to miss one. These are super, super powerful. So I mentioned the high five habit. And what Mel does in the high five habit is she has people look for heart shaped objects in nature. And sure enough, as soon as you set your filter to start looking for heart shaped objects, you notice heart shaped rocks, heart shaped leaves, heart shape on your cappuccino. You start noticing heart shapes everywhere. And so your assignment, if you choose to accept, is to just try on setting your filter for something that doesn't really matter. You can look for yellow cars, notice yellow cars, or I love numbers. So I love noticing numbers. And in my book, I go into the sequences of numbers. So if I see 3 8s in my mind, it means abundance. If I see 3 3s, it means I'm supported by God, that kind of thing. And so you can choose anything you want to set your filter for. You can look for butterflies, you can look for yellow cars, you can look for numbers, but just choose one thing and just notice this week, okay, how frequently you notice that thing you set your filter for. Okay. So this is about setting proof. And the truth is that you can't create a new reality while you're looking at your current reality. And that quote is actually from Jerry and Esther Hicks, who wrote Ask and It Is Given. And they talk about that kind of, if you're looking at your current reality, how can you ever see anything different? And so for most of us, we're dreaming towards an ideal life, or we're setting goals, setting new realities that we want to step into. And to step into those new realities, we have to change our filter setting and start noticing where those new realities are already true. So, some filter setting examples that you could use to do a reset with. The most common topic would be money. Most people can pretty quickly figure out what their filter setting is around money. I'm always broke. I always have just enough. I never have quite enough. I always have more than enough. Okay. So, what is your money setting? And now you can reset your filter to notice where you do have money, where you are rich, and you can affirm money comes to me in many different ways. You can notice how money comes to you differently. Okay. Another really common one is around health. I'm always sick. I have the worst immune. I'm always in pain. I never sleep. I always get headaches. I notice where you say always and never. Those are often really good indicators of your filter setting. And so you can shift into noticing, where are you healthy? Do you have great vision? Do you have, can you walk? Are you getting up every day and going to work? Where are you healthy? What can you speak out? What can you notice about your health? And another thing you can use, an affirmation you can use, is healing is easy. Everything goes my way. I'm always upgraded is a very fun one. Start noticing. I always use this one when I travel. I'm always upgraded. I always get a bigger room, a better seat, a blessing, a gift, something like that. And I am favored. So those are examples of how you can set a new filter. Um, some common filters that I've touched on, but I'll speak out again. Some common filters that sabotage how you show up in the world are: I'm always disrespected, I'm never heard, money makes people evil, I'm not supported, and people like me aren't successful or can't win. Okay. So this is a little bit like we were talking about planes in the last episode. So this is a little bit like air traffic control. Okay. Your brain is only going to tell you what you've told it to pay attention for. So air traffic control is not going to tell you, the pilot, about every single plane that's landing in North America or whatever country you're flying in. It's not going to tell you about every single plane that's landing. It's only going to tell you about the planes that are in your airspace. Your brain is set up to only tell you what's important for survival. And so the RES filter, a couple of those things you can't change. If there's a loud noise, you're going to notice it because your brain, your filter, is set up to notice danger. If someone says your name, you're going to hear it because your brain is set up to hear your name. It's a design, it's a survival technique. If you've ever been in a crowd and heard your name, this is why that happens. Okay. There could be a million other names being spoken, but you only hear your own name. Okay. This is another survival. Another one is when your partner or someone you're hanging with wants to get intimate, your brain will always alert you of that as well. The fourth one is the one that we're excited about because the fourth one we can use. And this is what you focus on. These are the things that you think about. Your brain will alert you. Hey, we think about this. Hey, this is important to us. Hey, notice this car. Hey, notice XYZ. Okay. And so this is, one of those things, whether you think you're lucky or you think you're unlucky, you're absolutely right. So notice how you can change your own perspective and your own filter. In the coming episodes, we're going to program or explore even more ways, way to reprogram your filters, identify beliefs. We've touched on some of those beliefs, but we can look at identifying beliefs and identifying different ways that we notice how we show up and how we sabotage ourselves. We're going to be doing lots of shifting and lots of resetting in the coming episodes. But I did promise you a tangible exercise. And so we're going to jump into two. The first one is proofing. If you are aware of how some of those common limitations that I was speaking out during the episode, if you're aware that you believe you're unsupported or you feel guilty all the time, or you're not lucky, or you're broke, one exercise you can do is called proofing. And you start to, first, I would write out all of the things, all of the proof that you're broke. Okay. Then flip the page and write out all of the places you're rich. So for example, if you've got $3 in the bank, you're going to celebrate those $3 and you're going to celebrate, well, I'm rich in t-shirts, I'm rich in mugs, I'm rich in books, I'm rich in friends, I'm rich in grass, I'm rich in flooring, I'm rich in shelter. Okay. So we want to just really brainstorm, where are you rich? If you're working on the money mindset piece here, that is a great proofing exercise to help you reset your filter and notice where you're rich, because right now your filter might be set to noticing where you're broke. And we want to shift out of that. The second tangible exercise that you can do to reset your filter is what we touched on before. And so with resetting your filter, what you're going to want to do is choose a number. Let's just say a repeating number. You choose the number. Notice that number, and whenever you see it, let's give it some meaning. So give it some meaning. So if you see 111 or 1111, if you see ones, anywhere you see ones, give it the meaning, or whatever number you choose or whatever color you choose, give it a meaning. So it means you're on track. Let's just say you see ones and it means you're on path, you're on track. Okay. So that's the second exercise, is what is a thing, that a symbol you want to notice, Okay, set your filter to look for that. I'm going to notice butterflies every time I see a butterfly. It's going to mean that I'm on path, or I'm on my divine mission, or I'm wealthy, or I am forgiven, or I am loved, or I am beautiful, or I am favored, or I'm about to find the love of my life. Okay. You can give it a meaning. Let's give it a new meaning. Let's help you reset your filter, reset your life, step out of that old autopilot that has not been serving you, release the filters that have been holding you back from seeing your true wealth, your divine, miraculous skills, gifts, all of the things that you're here to bring. Let's notice them and let's bring them. So, with that, I want to thank you so much for listening to another episode of Self Sabotage No More with Jennie Potter. If you get a chance, please rate this episode, or depending on what platform you're on, please rate this podcast. I appreciate the ratings and the comments so much. Thank you, and bye for now. Have a great day.